To be a Steeler is to consider others before you consider yourself. To protect your brother, even from himself. To give support at your own expense. And when wearing the black and gold suit of armor, make sure nobody desecrates it, disrespects it. Most importantly, we ourselves don't dishonor it. From previous legends who have donned the black and gold. These virtues I learned while playing for the Steelers are what make the legacy of the black and gold timeless. They are passed down in the locker room from the steel curtain to anyone who valiantly wears the black and gold. Creating a brotherhood that is deeper than money, business, and winning. To be a Steeler is to consider others before you consider yourself. This is our culture, Steeler culture.
Now, here are your hosts, Rob and Dan, the SteelTwins.
Steeler Nation, what is going on? Thank you guys so very much for joining us live for yet another edition of the Steeler Culture Podcast, where we break down Pittsburgh Steelers football. Steeler Nation, the NFL schedule has finally been released. We already knew the opponents of who the Steelers were going to be facing, but for all 32 teams specifically, the schedule has been released, and we now know the order of who we will be facing from week 1 to week 18.
And I can't wait for September 7th, personally, because that is obviously week 1 versus the Jets. We will be opening against the Jets because, of course, we are. Yeah. Why wouldn't it be the Jets? Yeah, because I think a certain free agent quarterback that is still waiting his sweet old time to make up his mind is out there. I think he used to play for the Jets, I think.
Not just that, but a former Steeler is now quarterback 1 for the Jets.
Sure is.
So the NFL knew what they were doing come week 1.
Go figure. We would have to face the Jets. And then week 2, we have our home opener versus the Seahawks of all people.
DK's old team and Sam Darnold, who the Steelers tried to acquire.
Thank God they did not.
But yeah, a lot of story right there.
But DK Metcalf starts his Steeler career in Heinz Field versus his old team, the team that drafted him. And the NFL knew what they were doing. It's very reminiscent of last year where they had the Steelers versus the Falcons week 1 because that was the Arthur Smith revenge game. And then week 2 versus the Broncos, the Russell Wilson revenge game, which clearly he didn't play because he was hurt. Fields played it. But very similar this year. Overall, when I look at this schedule from week 1 all the way down to week 18, I almost said 17, week 18.
Yeah, you got to get used to 18, bro.
17 games. First of all, a week 5 bye. Are you serious?
Yeah,
that is not ideal.
It's pretty early.
That is not ideal, ladies and gentlemen. A week 5 bye that early? Bro, that is what, 13 straight games? And a mini bye in between because we play Thursday night versus the
Cincinnati Bengals.
The Bengals on October 16th. A week 5 bye.
Yeah.
I can't remember the last time we had it bye that early. Probably like 10, 12 years ago. It's been a while since we had a bye that early.
So an early bye week, and what'd you say, 13 straight games?
13 straight
That's
games.
basically the equivalent to last year where we had 3 games in a span of 10 days.
Well, at least we didn't have that.
We don't have that this year, no, but that's basically equivalent because, I mean, like, that's a long stretch of games straight for the Steelers.
Yeah. Outside of the very, very early week 5 bye week, this is better than last year because at least we don't have 3 games in 10 days against the Eagles, Ravens, and Chiefs back to back to back. And we don't have all 6 of our divisional games in the second half of the season. It's more spread out this year. So the NFL was a little bit more generous, not too generous, but a little bit more generous this year in the way of handing the Steelers their schedule. It's better than last year, but it's still tough. I would argue that from week 13, I'd even jump up to week 12. From week 12 down is a little bit of a gauntlet for the Steelers. And I have a certain prediction for that certain area, which we will get into. But thank you guys for joining us. The NFL schedule has been released. The Steelers 2025 schedule is released, so we know where or when the Steelers will be playing. We know who they will be playing at what time zones and wherever. And the Steelers even have a international game this year in Ireland, at Dublin Ireland, at Croke Park, I believe.
Croke Park Stadium, the NFL's first ever game in Ireland. And, of course, the Steelers are going to be the designated home team, considering that the Rooneys are from Ireland.
Absolutely. And
So
of course,
it makes
Mr. Dan Rooney was an ambassador. So
Makes all the sense in the world. And the Steelers, man, they're going to have the honor to represent the Steelers. The Steelers are going to represent themselves, represent Ireland, so to speak. And hopefully they can knock out a win against a very difficult opponent, I should say.
versus the Vikings, but that will be designed as a home game for the Steelers because clearly Ireland and the Steelers, you see that tie-in. So
Of course.
that's cool. And right after that is the week 5 bye. But you guys see the schedule. Let us know your guys' thoughts on the live chat. If you guys have any record predictions, feel free to put that in the live chat. There's a poll for you guys. How many wins max for the Steelers? 10 plus, 9, 8, or 7 or below?
Honestly, I'm going to say right now, I'm surprised that the leading poll right here is 10 plus, but with 37%.
Yeah.
A little surprised by that.
We're going to give our record prediction very shortly. But first, we want to get into all of the weeks. We want to get into the entire schedule and pretty much break down every single week in regards to the matchup and the significance of that certain game. So we're going to get through that. But first, thank you guys for joining us tonight as we discuss the 2025 Steelers schedule release, man. Now you guys can start planning and tripping for whatever games you guys want to attend to. I don't know if we'll be attending any games this year, but if you guys are, listen, I incredibly endorse it, especially at Heinz Field, because it is a once-in-a-lifetime adventure or once-in-a-year sort of opportunity, depending on where you live or whatever, right? If you guys are going to a game, go to a game. If you guys are overseas, go to the Ireland game, man. You guys don't get that often. It's a little more common for the NFL to be doing games everywhere. They're doing one in Spain this year. They do one in Mexico every now and then. They do one in Ireland, do one in Brazil.
Yep.
I mean, they're really trying to get international, but it's still pretty tough for overseas people, fans, to go out to games. So if you guys got a chance this year, go for one, because we've been to only one Steelers game. It was Ben's second to last home game where he got his last rushing touchdown versus the Titans. I was freezing my bonkers off, but it was an absolute incredible time.
Yeah, and I'll tell you what, going to Heinz Field for a Steelers game, I mean, and it's still Heinz Field, not Acrisure Stadium, by the way. The energy is contagious, and to this day, I still feel that energy from that game. First ever Steelers home game that we went to, and it was just a hell of a time.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if we'll be able to get back this year, but at some point we got to get back to Heinz Field.
But if you guys are looking to go to a game, can't recommend it enough. Definitely go for it. Have a fun time. Enjoy yourselves, especially if it's to a Steelers home game and whatnot. The energy, man, it is unlike anything else.
Especially once they play Renegade, man. Once they play Renegade. I know a lot of fans aren't crazy excited for the season. I'm not either.
Not expecting anything.
I have zero expectations. I don't know what to expect. I'm not going to expect anything crazy or anything greater than what we've got the last 7-8 years.
I'm going to be real with you guys. I'm not even expecting a playoff spot. I'm not.
So I don't know what you guys are expecting, but I guess all we can hope for is the best and enjoy whatever good comes out of this season. Maybe it's better than what most are expecting, because I see some of you people in the chat saying 9 wins sounds about right. 12-5, 10 wins, 10-7, 10 wins, 10 plus wins, 6-11, 8-8-1, 8-9.
By the way, is that
10-7.
tie? Is that tie going to be with the Lions like it was in 2020?
Why not? Listen.
Yeah,
Dan Campbell and Mike Tomlin already have that in common.
Yeah, because Detroit is going to tie with the Steelers.
You never know. Listen, Mason Rudolph might be our starting quarterback. They say lightning doesn't strike the same place twice, but you know,
this go around, I believe it's in Detroit.
that don't mean anything.
It means a lot.
It does mean a lot.
That's hostile environment.
In Ford Field, I mean,
Steelers got history there.
they got great history there.
They got great history there.
Just ask Jerome Bettis. Ask Hines Ward. He won Super Bowl MVP in that building. It'll be a while until we actually get back to that stage, but you guys get where we're coming from. Let's get into the schedule, man. Week 1, we open up against the New York Jets. This is an away game. This is the, I want to say 10th time in the last 11 seasons that we've been on the road to start the season. Out of last year's exception, I believe. No, not last year. The year before that, 2023, I believe, we opened the season at home. We're on the road again versus the Jets for obvious reasons. Justin Fields and his revenge game, quote unquote. It'll be interesting to see what Justin Fields can do as he's going to get a starting gig again, probably his last chance ever to get a real starting gig and prove himself against his former team. Aaron Rodgers, will he be the starting quarterback by then? Well, the story says that it could very well happen. It seems like Aaron Rodgers, we don't know when he's going to make up his mind, but if there's a time for him to do it, it's pretty soon because you know how much Aaron Rodgers loves to be in the center of attention. Well, no better way to be in the center of attention than to open week 1 starting for the Pittsburgh Steelers versus your former team the last 2 years.
In the stadium that you played at and represented for the past, season. Technically,
Yes.
I'm right.
But listen, it's the Jets. We don't know what to expect. They got a new head coach. They got the Lions defensive coordinator. So maybe they could change the thing around. They got a lot of great offensive weapons, as we know, but they're still a huge unknown. And at the end of the day, they are the Jets. Week 2 versus the Seattle Seahawks. DK's revenge game. DK having his first game in Heinz Field as a Pittsburgh Steeler in the black and gold. Still weird to say that. Versus his former team in the Seattle Seahawks. It'll be interesting to see what Seattle does with Sam Darnold at quarterback.
Yeah.
And I guess they got Cooper Kupp. They still got Jackson Smith and Jimba. It'll be interesting to see what their season's going to be like, man. They're one of those teams where I just don't know exactly how they're going to go. Can they stay healthy on offense? How strong is that defense going to be? Week 3, we face the New England Patriots in Foxborough at Gillette Stadium. It's a lot of history there. It's a lot of fun, great, bullshit history there. Swear jar. That it's against the Patriots. Mike Vrabel is their new head coach.
Former Steeler, Mike Vrabel.
They are really going all in on Drake May, as they should. I think Drake May has a lot of potential. Then you add more weapons. They got Stephon Diggs. If he can stay healthy, maybe we could see what he can bring to the table. It's the Patriots. We don't have good history against the Patriots, especially in Foxborough. The last time the Pittsburgh Steelers defeated the Patriots in Foxborough was 2008. Who was the starting quarterback, you may ask, for the New England Patriots? I'll tell you who it wasn't. It wasn't Tom Brady.
I believe it was Matt Castle.
It was Matt Castle. That was the last time we beat the Patriots in Foxborough. 2008, bro. Almost 20 years ago.
Yeah, that's right.
Week 4, international in Dublin, Ireland. We face the Minnesota Vikings. The Steelers are being considered the home team for this because of the Ireland ties. That's where the Rooneys are from. That's where they are originated. That's where their genes are. So that's going to be interesting to see the Steelers in an international game. This is a very early game, obviously, because the time zone different. This will be a 9:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time start.
Yep, on the NFL Network.
So Steeler Nation, wake up early because it's game day, week 4. Come September 28th. And for the West Coast folks, y'all better get up early as hell.
It's going to be an early game, but it's going to be a hell of a game. It's going to be something. It's going to be an experience for the Steelers. The Steelers, they don't really get a lot of international games. The Steelers are one of those teams that the NFL doesn't look at and pick and choose for an international game. It's usually the Jaguars or the Ravens or even the Bills at that. You know what I mean?
Right.
But considering that this is the first ever NFL game in Dublin, Ireland at Croke Park Stadium, it just made all the sense in the world to have the Steelers as the priority team to go with, or one of the teams to go with, and just have them as the designated home team. And the Vikings, at that point, it's going to be interesting to see, where they're at with O'Connell still as head coach, and of course J.J. McCarthy as the projected quarterback one there.
Yeah, we don't know what to expect from J.J. McCarthy. We don't. What's he going to bring in his second year? He didn't play a single snap in his rookie season, so they're an unknown, but we know how incredibly talented their offense is. We know what Kevin O'Connell can do. I mean, look what we did with Sam Darnold last year. If J.J. McCarthy is anything like Sam Darnold or better, then the Vikings,
they'll be in good hands.
They will definitely be in good hands. But I believe this is the Steelers' first international game since 2013 when they played in London and they faced the Vikings. So 13 years later, we go to Dublin, Ireland to face the Vikings for this matchup, so in week 4. Now, I don't know why we have a week 5 bye. People are saying maybe it's because of the international travel that the NFL handed the Steelers a early week 5 bye because the week before, they got to go to Ireland, whatever. I don't think that's a big of a deal. I mean, because if you look at the Vikings, they face the Steelers in week 4 in Ireland, and then they play the next week in London.
Yeah.
Now, I know they're still a little overseas, but I'd figure it's not that big of a difference. It's not really that crazy of a flight back to Pittsburgh. It's what? I don't know, 7-8 hours probably, if I'd estimate. I wouldn't think it's that crazy of a reason that the NFL would give the Steelers a week 5 bye. I don't understand it, but that's the hand we're dealt. If there's a big negative out of this entire schedule, that's it, is that we got a week 5 bye. It sucks, but at least we didn't get dealt a very bad hand in the second half of the schedule, very much like last year.
No, but the Steelers, they rarely get a very early bye. Usually they get a bye within about week 8, 9, maybe even week 7 at the very earliest for the Steelers. Week 5 is a rarity for the Steelers, but it could come down to the fact that they're going international in Dublin, and the NFL wants to give them a solid and give them a bye week afterwards so that they can chill, rest, and heal up and whatnot. I have no idea.
Yeah, that's giving us a solid, giving us 13 straight weeks.
It's the NFL, bro.
I just think a week 5 bye and an 18-week season or a 17-game season, I think that's a little ridiculous.
No, I agree. I mean, you add an extra week, and then like week 5 from there after that is just
it's a stretch.
It's a long stretch.
It's a long stretch.
It's a lot of brutality on a player's body.
Yeah, and we know the Steelers unfortunately get bit by the injury bug, as does every team. Some teams worse than others. But if the Steelers get bit by the injury bug, man, it's not going to look great for that second half of the schedule. So I'm hoping the Steelers can stay as healthy as possible. Week 6, we return from the week 5 bye. Week 6 at home versus the Cleveland Browns. This is Kenny Pickett's revenge game. I hope so. And by that, I mean we beat the hell out of Kenny Pickett, and he is the starting quarterback.
I am crossing my fingers just one time, one game to face Kenny Pickett.
I got a bold prediction. I don't think he makes the roster.
Well, you're looking at Shador. You're looking at Dylan Gabriel.
And Joe Flacco. They keep him 4 quarterbacks. Where's Kenny going to be? He going to be the ball guy? He going to be the water boy?
With them tiny hands?
His hands got to be useful for something outside of throwing footballs, because it wasn't useful for us.
Well, clearly, it was not good at all. Not a great experience.
Who knows? Maybe listen, the Browns quarterback situation, it might be better than ours, maybe, but it's not great.
I'm going to say right now, I think Flacco takes the cake as the starting quarterback for the Browns.
Dude, I don't want to laugh at him, because I can also laugh at us, because we're in the same situation.
Yeah.
It's weird. I'm not used to this, folks. I'm not used to this. I laugh at the Browns quarterback situation, but, this isn't from like 10 years ago where I can laugh at them and be proud we got a Big Ben. We don't have that no more. So when I laugh at the Browns, I'm also laughing at us based off the quarterback situation. I don't know who's going to be the starting quarterback. I'm praying it's Kenny Pickett, but I don't even know if he even makes the roster. But we got the Browns to come back from the bye. Then we're back on the road, not too far, though, to Cincinnati. This is our first primetime matchup. The Steelers have 4 primetime games this entire schedule. Now things could flex. They can get more. They can get kicked out of one. We'll see as we get closer into the NFL season. But this is the first of 4 primetime games. Actually, they have 3 primetime games in a span of 4 weeks. Between week 7 and week 10, they have 3 primetime games. And the first one is Thursday Night Football versus the Cincinnati Bengals. This is where the mini bye comes into play, because I guess that's our little extra little bye week, I suppose, is that we have to play Thursday and then we rest for another 10 days until we have to face the Green Bay Packers at home for our second straight primetime matchup on Sunday Night Football. So that should be interesting.
Yeah, Green Bay and Pittsburgh, Sunday Night Football. I mean, like, card-wise, like, on paper-wise, it looks like a hell of a matchup. And A-Rod could be the quarterback. He could be looking to face his former team, the Packers, which I don't think he's faced the Packers yet before since leaving.
I don't think he has either.
So if he signs with the Steelers, if he's healthy at the time, this could very well be the first time that A-Rod plays his former team if he's a Steeler.
And according to Art Rooney II, the Steelers owner, he said moments ago on the Steelers website, while breaking down the schedule release, he did mention that the Steelers will be having a new throwback jersey for the game versus the Packers.
New throwback.
Now, I don't know what that entails. Maybe they bring back the bumblebees. Maybe they bring back the jerseys that they wore only one time versus the Colts in 1994. If you guys know what I'm talking about. I mean, Rob, you have a jersey.
Yeah, I have a Kevin Green jersey. I know this is design. It's like a jail cell, like black stripe design and whatnot.
I'll get it up for you.
Like it was a rare occasion that they had a throwback during that time. But I mean, like, it was one of those jerseys that kind of caught my eye when I first seen it. I'm like, man, that's kind of like unique. It's something that we don't really see. It's something that I would love the Steelers to kind of bring back every once in a while and do. That's a possibility. Maybe it's what do people call it? Like the Batman suit, the Batman jersey and whatnot with just like the cape stripe up top. They could bring that back. I have no idea.
Yeah, they could use that. That's the jersey we're referring to from the Colts game in 1994. They could bring that. That with the tan pants would be pretty cool. This is a home game as well, so they could go to the Bumblebees, which I know is a controversial move. I'm personally a fan of the Bumblebees.
Maybe they bring the Bumblebees back with the gold helmet. Do they bring back the gold helmet? Because I don't think they wore the gold helmet since, 2010?
Yeah, it's been a while.
Yeah, it's been a bit.
Yeah, they could do the Bumblebees with the gold helmets. That'd be a good fit.
Yeah, good mesh. Good mesh of
I
colors.
have no idea. It could... I was going to say maybe it could just be the block number jerseys, the old 70s throwbacks, but if you're going to have a new throwback, that's not really new.
Because he said new. And the Bumblebees aren't exactly new, but they've been retired for a number of years.
Yeah, they have.
So I don't know what Art Rooney has in mind. I don't know what the Steelers have in mind as far as throwbacks go, but that's something that's going to be interesting for sure.
It'll be interesting for sure. I'm going to get one more picture up. This is going to be the Batman one that Rob was talking about here. Let me see if I can get that propped up here. Because, listen, I don't know if they're ever going to bring this back. This is like way, way back, like before the Chuck Noll days. Maybe they entertain bringing back something like this. I'm not sure, but it'd be interesting because it's different. It's something that we haven't seen in a very long time. Let me see if I can get that up here for you guys. 1 second, folks. Oops. Try that. And change.
Kind of get that
working.
And transition.
Something like that. Those are considered the Batman jersey. Maybe they bring those in. I don't know. I have not a single idea of what the new throwbacks would be. It could just be something as we're going to bring back the Bumblebees. They haven't worn that in I don't know how many years. I feel like the last time they worn that, wasn't it 2017? 2016? One of those years? I'd have to really search it up.
I can't remember the opponent that they played against with.
Maybe you guys in the chat can let us know. But he did say that versus the Packers on Sunday night for week 8, they will be bringing in a new throwback. So can't wait to see it. And no matter what it is, I'm pretty sure I will be collecting that type of jersey for whatever player. Probably Watt, probably Hayward, maybe Minka. Because there's no one on offense I can really get right now, can there?
DK.
He's
here 5 years.
You're right.
He's here 5 years.
Well, moving on, man. So two straight primetime games. Thursday night versus the Bengals. Week 8, Sunday night versus the Packers. Week 9 versus the Indianapolis Colts. We typically have the Colts number, except the last 2 years they've beaten us. In 2023, they blew us out. Last year,
with Gardner Minshew.
In 2023 with Gardner Minshew. Last year, they beat us. And
with Joe Flacco.
With Joe Flacco, yes.
I don't mean to bring him up, but I'm just throwing that out there.
I think that was wasn't that the week 4 matchup?
Yeah, it was a week 4 matchup. Initially, Anthony Richardson started. He started that game, and he was actually looking the best he ever did last season against the Steelers, laughably.
And then he got hurt pretty early, and Joe Flacco came in and torched our defense.
Yes, he did.
So now they have Anthony Richardson, if he can stay healthy, and Daniel Flipping Jones.
Danny Dimes. Now, I will say the past 2 years against the Colts, that was in Indianapolis. That was on the road. Though even then, against the Colts, we always had their number even in Indianapolis. But this go around, this time it's in Heinz Field. So maybe the hostile environment will be different for the Colts. But then again, I don't want to underestimate the Colts despite their quarterback situation. It doesn't look pretty. It doesn't look great on paper. Probably won't even look great on the field.
Shane Steichen got his hands full this year.
He do. But Steichen, ever since he's been the coach, the Colts have had our number.
Well, see, I still like their receiving core, though. Michael Pittman, A.D. Mitchell.
Josh Downs.
Alec
Pierce.
Alec Pierce is a great defense.
They got
Jonathan Taylor's still a good back.
Didn't they draft their running back too? Was it DJ Giddens?
I think you're right.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I don't want to underestimate the Colts, but their quarterback situation isn't looking as pretty as ours. So, if there's a time for the Steelers to get back on the win column against the Colts, it's got to be this year. Week 10 versus the Los Angeles Chargers. This is in L.A., and this is a Sunday night football game. Again, so our third primetime game in a span of 4 weeks. So, Los Angeles at L.A., Sunday night football. We always play the Chargers pretty well, especially in L.A. It's Steelers West over there. I feel confident about that game.
Yep.
I know they're looking pretty good this year. They got a lot of offensive potential. Najee will be playing his former team.
Yes.
They also drafted Marion Hampton in the first round. So, they're going to really run the rock with Greg Roman. You know what the Hardballs like to do, or run the football. So,
yeah, Herbert with a better receiving core already, with they drafted Trey Harris and their rookie from last year, Ladd McConkey. I mean, he broke Chargers records as a rookie. So it's Chargers, man, on paper, they look like a hell of a team. We'll see what they can do in Harbaugh's second year.
But I like our odds versus the Chargers. I will mention that. Week 11, our second matchup versus the Cincinnati Bengals. This time, it is at home. Week 12 versus the Chicago Bears at Chicago. The last time we beat the Bears in Chicago was 1995. Yep. And the last time we faced the Bears in Chicago, I believe Soldier Field. Is it still called that?
Yeah, Soldier Field. I believe.
Yeah, that was 2017, and that was a disaster from the start.
Wasn't Mike Glennon the freaking quarterback?
I think he was. That was when Tariq Cohen was really starting to pop off, him and Jordan Howard. I remember at the start of the game, Ben threw a bomb to Martavis Bryant, he dropped it, and that was kind of setting the tone.
Yeah,
I remember that went into overtime.
Yeah, that was one of the weird. It's one of those games that you shouldn't remember, but for some reason I do. Anybody remember J.J. Wilcox? And he got an interception in that game. I'm not sure if anybody remembers that. For some reason, I do.
Until you mentioned it.
But I remember I think it was a blocked field goal by some sort of Bears player on Boswell. He blocked the field goal. He went to return it. Vance McDonald hustled his ass down the field and was able to strip the ball and prevent a touchdown. I think it led to a touchback.
Dude, wow, you are really opening up the chamber.
It's one of those games that you shouldn't remember, but for some reason, I do.
Pretty much what we're trying to say is we don't play good in Chicago.
No, we don't.
We don't. And this is where the schedule gets really tough. From week, I was going to say from week 13 to the end was tough. I'm going to jump it up to week 12 to the end is where we get into a little bit of a gauntlet.
Around that time, week 12, we'll really get an understanding of how Caleb Williams is under Ben Johnson, who's the new head coach over there with the receiving core he's got and his offense and his offensive line. They really, really upgraded, really spent a lot of capital on the offensive line for Caleb Williams because he was one of the more sacked quarterbacks last year as a rookie.
Yeah.
From week 12, we will see exactly what type of team Chicago is, if they're legitimate or not.
Still, though, I don't like our odds in Chicago.
No.
Not in Chicago. History's not on our side for that one. Week 13, we face the Bills.
Now, it's in Pittsburgh, but
moving on.
It's Josh Allen.
It's the Bills, bro. Listen, I don't trust the Steelers against any elite competition in the AFC. Or any elite competition in general. You look at the past number of years and we faced elite competition like the Eagles and the Chiefs and the Bills. It's all the same result. So, yeah, I'm locking that as an L already.
And we got the Bills basically at the end of November.
Yeah.
Where the Steelers, the past number of years, have played poorly.
And to open up in December, following the Bills game, Week 14, we're going to unleash hell in December. Hopefully, maybe, probably not, versus the Baltimore Ravens in Buffalo, at Baltimore, M&T Bank Stadium.
Yeah, last time we played the Ravens in Baltimore.
So we got to go from Buffalo to Baltimore. Oof.
Yes. Or from Heinz Field, from home against Buffalo.
Well, I'm saying,
Baltimore.
I get it. Yeah,
but opponent Buffalo to Baltimore. Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, that's already tough.
It is.
That's already tough.
That's why I say, like, this stretch gets really. It's not like last year where it's all 6 divisional games and it's 3 games in 10 days against 3 of the best in the league, literally. It's not like it's not that bad. It's still a bit of a gauntlet,
but it's kind of setting the tone when you got to go from Buffalo, though at home, it's the Bills, to the Ravens.
Yes, and then after that, we get, I guess, a break. Week 15, Monday Night Football. This is our 4th and final projected primetime game on Monday night.
This is the only Monday Night Football game that the Steelers have at the moment.
Versus Miami, and Miami doesn't play well in winter temperatures.
Specifically Tua Tagovailoa. He sucks in the cold weather.
Is he going to be healthy by then?
At that point, who knows? It could very well be Quinn Ewers at quarterback. I don't know.
I have not a clue either.
I couldn't tell you. I'm not a psychic.
But that's our final primetime game up until now. So we got Buffalo Week 13, Baltimore Week 14, Miami Week 15 Monday night, Week 16 Detroit. At Detroit.
Yeah, listen.
At the end of the season.
Yeah, listen.
Now, the only positive of this is out of conference. So if we get a loss here, depending on the conference standings at the time, it might not affect us from the conference aspect, but still, I mean, no loss of that situation is really good.
No.
Especially because I think the division is still going to be kind of tight crunched between the Steelers, Ravens, and the Bengals. So a loss here against Detroit's still not going to be good, but I'm not expecting a win. I'm not. I know Ben Johnson lost a lot of his coordinators. He lost Ben Johnson and Aaron Glenn. He lost a lot of coaches over there. But
Dan Campbell's a man that is known for his coaching tree and just known for his mentality and his attitude and whatnot. I think the Lions will be fine losing both of their coordinators. As long as they have Dan Campbell, I think they're going to be in a fine spot.
Yeah, it'll be a very interesting season to see how Dan Campbell, I don't want to say bounces back, but continues without his DCs or without his coordinators.
I mean, going from the best record in franchise history, I think they were, 15-2 last year, then going one and done against the Commanders, who were led by Jaden Daniels, who was a rookie, and then losing your coordinators, both of them. Yeah, I mean, that's a tough hill to climb, but I mean, like, I think Detroit has shown, like, this is a different type of Detroit.
They're incredibly resilient. They're incredible. They're everything. I can't believe I'm saying this. They're everything I wish the Steelers would be right now.
Yeah. Yeah, a little bit.
Week 17, we have our second matchup versus the Cleveland Browns at Cleveland. And to finish off Week 18, our second and final matchup, our final AFC North matchup, versus the Baltimore Ravens at Pittsburgh, time to be announced. This is obviously being to be determined. I think all Week 18 games are to be determined.
They will be. They will be.
This could have playoff implications. This could have AFC North implications. Or this could just be another one of those games where the Ravens have to sit their starters a la a couple years ago when RG3 was starting.
Yep.
What year was that? 2019?
Or what was last time Mason played regular season as a Steeler? Who was the quarterback for the Ravens? Because I know Lamar wasn't playing that game. Who was the backup? Wasn't
it RG3?
No, it wasn't RG3.
Oh, Tyler Huntley.
That's who it was, yeah. Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
What I'm saying is this could be a situation in Week 18 where the Ravens sit their starters. Maybe they already clinched a playoff spot. They probably will. Maybe they've clinched a certain seed. They're going to sit their starters for the playoffs. Lord knows where the Steelers are going to rank. And this is where we get into our record predictions. But first, I want to thank you guys for joining us. I want to get a huge shout out to you guys. And I want to check the update on the chat. The poll. How many wins max for the Steelers? 36% of you guys still say 10 plus. 32% say 9, 13% say 8, 19% say 7 or below. Matt Nerdy says Detroit game ends in a tie. Listen. If the Lightning can strike the same place twice, you know what I'm saying? Anything can happen.
This is a different Detroit, though.
This is a very different.
Come on.
This is very different than 2020? 2020.
COVID year.
Yeah. Yeah, one of my favorite games happened in Detroit. Bus's last stop. Good times. Yeah, Super Bowl 40.
I mean, listen, the Steelers have great history at Ford Field.
Sure do.
A long time ago, though.
20 years ago.
Yes, it was. Yes.
That was 20 years ago, folks. Wow. Unbelievable. Electric Visual says, Tua in the cold weather, free win. Yeah, I think the same. Miami they suck in cold weather. And I don't know what to expect from Miami, but they can't stay healthy. Can Tua stay healthy?
Not just that,
Tyreek's on his way out.
Miami can't stay consistent. That's their problem. I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's a Mike McDaniels thing or a Tua thing. I don't know what it is. Like, Tua's the guy to go with for quarterback. You know, that's where they provide. And they got a great running back in Achane. It's just their defense is inconsistent. That whole coaching staff is inconsistent. I don't know about Miami this year.
I don't know either. It's just they're one of those iffy teams right now. I mean, I think they got a couple years ago, man, when McDaniel first kind of started there, like they had a lot of potential, and now they're just kind of in the unknown factor. I don't know. We'll see what they do. But you know, Monday night versus the Dolphins, I do feel very confident about that. They will wear the white jersey with the gold shoulders as they did in the late 60s when they played the Packers, says Bart. Is that your prediction? Because I think that'd be sick.
They could do that.
In fact, so they are premiering, or they're going to have a new throwback jersey for the, I think I said week 8 game versus the Packers on Sunday night. I believe week 15 versus the Dolphins on Monday night, they will be rocking the color rush. That has been announced by Art Rooney II. They will wear the color rush on Monday night versus the Dolphins.
Yep.
So you guys can look forward to that. I'll be sporting my color rush that night.
I remember, what was it, 2019, sorry, the year Ben went down. Didn't they wear the color rush that Monday night game against Miami? So
because Mason started. I remember Deontay getting a big touchdown up the middle before the end of the second half, or first half.
Ryan Fitzpatrick threw 2 picks to make it Fitzpatrick.
Yep.
So, yeah, pretty fitting. Pretty fitting right there.
Probably split with the Raptors this year. I think so, too. Before we get into our predictions, I think we split with the entire AFC North. So right then and there, our record's going to be 3-3 just based off of those 6 matchups. In my opinion. I have no confidence in the Steelers playing good or great teams, says Matt Nerdy. I'm with you, man. I just, the past couple years, there's just no confidence. No confidence. We close out last final game against the Ravens. Yeah, we do. And I will say, I think that's a dub for one reason or another. We'll see. The Ravens will take the conference again this year, says Jet.
Hey, Jet, what's up?
I'll say this. The Chiefs are very, very beatable. I would say the Chiefs are exposed. The Chiefs are pretty exposed. I think they've been exposed for a while now. They get lucky. So I think the Ravens can definitely go up in arms about it. If it's not the Bills, it's probably going to be the Ravens.
Well, they resigned Derrick Henry for another 2 years.
They sure did.
So they locked him down after having almost 2,000 yards rushing on the ground. They have DeAndre Hopkins as the true number 2. Or maybe number 3, because Bateman stepped up as the number 2 last year with 9 touchdowns. Of course, Flowers is number 1. Andrews, likely. That defense, though they lost their safety for the year, or Darius Washington, he tore his Achilles, which is unfortunate for him. But
yeah, it is.
I mean, the Ravens, they've showcased that they're a consistent AFC team. They're a top dog in the conference. I can't take that away from them.
2-time MVP Lamar Jackson.
That he is.
Yellow home pants with the stripe block number jersey. Go hard. Take a look on Madden yourself. I did sport that in Madden one time because every now and then when I play Madden, I'll mix up the jerseys, just kind of get an idea of maybe, what would spice up the Steelers a little bit on the field in real life. I've done that combo before. I've done the all whites for aways like they did back in the 70s for, I think, once or twice. I really think they should bring that back. The all whites is just spicy to me. I really like the old school throwbacks, like the Batman combos or the block number with like the yellow or the gold helmet. I think that'd be pretty cool. I don't know, man. We'll see.
Just spice it up a bit.
Either way, I think they need to bring back the gold helmets in one way somehow with alternate or something.
Yeah.
I think that'd be really cool if they did that as a throwback.
Yeah.
If they wanted to do it with the color rush, I think that'd be fire.
Yeah. I
think the gold helmets with the color rush would be fire.
Yeah, the gold numbers and whatnot. Yeah.
Electric Visual says non-reading ass Fields versus Week 1 Steelers defense. Yeah, that'll be interesting. You guys know how we feel about Fields. We wish him all the best. This is the guy we wanted to not be the future because he wasn't going to be the future.
I wanted the Steelers to give him the chance to showcase he could be. Do I believe he could have been? No,
No.
but I wanted to see him be given that opportunity.
Well, now he's got a way to prove them wrong, I suppose.
Yeah, with the Jets, with Aaron Glenn, and he chose the Jets.
Well, we're really going to see how much he's grown.
Yeah.
We're really going to see how much he's grown.
See how much Aaron Glenn can get the most out of Justin.
Mm-hmm. So with that being said, we're going to get into our record prediction. Starting with week 1. At New York, the Jets. Aaron Rodgers may or may not be the Steelers quarterback. At this point, I don't care. Frankly, I hope not, actually, but it's just one of those situations, man. He'll make up his mind when he does. I'll move on with my life until he does. You know what I mean? The Jets.
Until he does.
If he does. I don't know if he's going to anymore.
Now that the Jets are the week 1 opponent, maybe A-Rod's like, hey, coach, I'm ready.
Yeah.
Maybe he was just waiting to see, like, hey, what week can I play this team? What week can I play them?
Well, maybe the NFL knows something we don't.
I don't know.
Maybe it's like the NBA when they gave the Mags the number 1 overall pick. Maybe they knew something we didn't months in advance. Just throwing it out there.
I just want the wait to end. That's all.
We got the Jets. Week 1, that's a dub. Steelers start 1-0.
For you?
Yes.
I'm going to think differently, brother. I'm going to think differently. I'm going to say 0-1.
What?
Yeah. I think we start the season with an L.
Okay. Listen,
Surprisingly, I know. Surprisingly.
I like the difference
but
here.
it's on the road. It's Aaron Glenn's first game as Jets head coach. I'm not trying to hype up the Jets because they're the Jets at the end of the day. But it's just something, because of the uncertainty at quarterback, the uncertainty with the offense and whatnot. And the Jets, I mean, they still got a pretty reliable, pretty good defense and whatnot. I think the Jets may want to try to win it all come week 1.
Well, DK versus Sauce is going to be a great matchup. Who's going to be opposite DK? I don't know. Maybe Roman Wilson. Maybe Calvin Austin. Most likely Robert Woods. Will we trade for a receiver? Time's going to tell.
Mm-hmm.
But that's going to be a good matchup. I think the Steelers are really going to try to run the rock here. I'll be very interested to see if Caleb Johnson gets a lot of looks or how many looks he's going to get to start the season. Because if there's a time for them to do so, it's probably this matchup here versus the Jets. So I'm going to say 1-0 versus the Jets. Rob's going to say 0-1 to start the year. Week 2 versus Seattle Seahawks. Home opener. DK faces his former team. Sam Darnold. I don't trust him. I don't like Sam Darnold. I don't think he's that great. I don't think he was deserving of that big money contract. Kevin O'Connell should get 75% of it. Kevin
O'Connell should get 75% of both Sam Darnold and Kirk Cousins' money.
That's fair. That's very, very fair. Yeah. He should be a much more richer man.
Yes.
That's a win in my book. Steelers, in my opinion, start 2-0.
No, I think that's a dub. It's the home opener and the Steelers. I can't see them starting off 0-2. I can't.
Me neither.
So I think they get a win. They get a bounce back win after a week 1 loss. And against Seattle, DK's former team and whatnot, I think that'll be a good bounce back win.
Week 3, the Patriots. To refresh your guys' mind, the last time the Steelers beat the Patriots in Foxborough was 2008. Matt Castle was the starting quarterback. I think that losing streak continues. I say we got our first loss of the season versus the Patriots. 2-1.
Yeah, I think this is a loss as well in New England. I mean, it's just enemy territory, but I mean, they got a whole different culture there now. Mike Vrabel is coming in as his first year as head coach, and they have just surrounded Drake May with a lot of talent because it's clear that he's the guy to go with. He showed a lot of promise with very little talent. They drafted Trevion Henderson, which is nasty. They bolstered the wide receiver. They signed Stephon Diggs. I think they drafted another guy as well, if I'm not mistaken. Mm-hmm. They bolstered that offensive line, and Vrabel is just a defensive-minded guy. He's going to take care of that defense for sure. And I hate that I'm giving the Patriots a lot of credit and whatnot, with the misery that they put us through from the 2000 and 2010 year.
Boy, don't remind me.
But, I mean, that's just how I feel about New England. I do think that the Steelers do lose on the road.
Wait a minute. When did they get Josh Dobbs?
Yeah, they signed Josh Dobbs.
They got my boy Dobbs under contract.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, that's right.
Dang, that kind of hurts. I always like Dobbs. So, you're sitting at what?
1-2.
I'm sitting at 2-1.
Mm-hmm.
The Vikings in Dublin, Ireland. Week 4, international game, man. This is a home game for the Steelers. I'm going to say we beat the Vikings 3-1 at the bye.
Yeah, I think this is a dub. I just can't see the Steelers. I can't envision the Steelers losing in their first game in Dublin. The first ever international game in Dublin, Ireland. I can't see the Steelers losing it.
No, I am very, very, very terrified of Jay Jettas and Jordan Addison and Hawkinson and Aaron Jones and what they can offer.
Or even,
I think that line is very solid too. We just don't know what J.J. McCarthy's going to bring to the table. We don't know what he can do. But what we do know is Kevin O'Connell is a quarterback wizard.
And we do know that Brian Flores is one hell of a defensive coordinator.
Yes, he is.
We all knew that.
I wish we could know, firsthand.
Yeah, we had him. We just let him go for Terrell Austin.
For Terrell Austin, who's still here.
No, but, I mean, it's in Dublin. It's international. The Steelers are going to represent hard. They're going to want to get this win for the Roonies, for Steeler Nation, for themselves. The Vikings are a good team, but some just tells me, my gut feeling is telling me that Steelers will find a way to come out with a victory in a tough matchup.
Well, the Vikings, I mean, with McCarthy, they're a little bit of an unknown. You got to trust what Kevin O'Connell's been doing at that position for so many years. You got to trust their offensive weapons. Brian Flores led him to one of the best defenses last year. This is easily the toughest matchup to date come week 4.
Yeah.
And for an early game, it's going to be one of those must-see matchups, just to watch. I think this is going to be a battle of the defenses potentially.
Yeah.
If the Steelers defense can really be on their A game, this could very well be a very good defensive bout here. But my record prediction going into the bye is 3-1.
And I'm setting at 2-2 right now.
Week 5 is the bye, unfortunately. Week 6 versus the Browns.
Cleveland Browns.
The Cleveland Browns. This is a win. At home, this is a win.
Yeah, it's a dub. This is a dub for me.
So I'm sitting at 4-1.
Enough said.
Week 7 versus the Bengals at Cincinnati. I'm going to say we get a loss here.
I agree. Because I do think that we do split with Cincinnati. Cincinnati, was it on the road, you said?
Yes, in Cincinnati.
Yeah, and Cincinnati, they re-signed Higgins. They re-signed Chase. Burrow just had statistically his best year, an MVP-capable caliber year. That defense is still suspect. It's still not great, and they just can't seem to be in good communications with their premier pass rushers, whether that's Trey Hendrickson or Shamir Stewart. So they got some problems they got to fix on that defense, but I do think that we do lose to Cincinnati in our first meeting.
I do. It's just, I know their defense is bad, and it's going to get worse because, obviously, like you said, their edge rushers just can't get under contract. They can't agree on anything there. Yeah. And their secondary players are just very, very weak at the moment. But with what offense are we going to be able to compete against that one? Against Burrow and Chase and the other Chase Brown and Higgins. I mean, I don't see how we compete against that, especially at their house. So I say we get a loss here. Sunday night versus the Green Bay Packers at home in Heinz Field. This is a loss to me. We lose 2 straight. We lose both primetime matchups.
Oh, so you got the Steelers losing to Green Bay.
I do, with a record of 4-3.
Okay, well, I'm going to say they beat Green Bay in primetime. Something just speaks to me about the Steelers, representing a home in primetime. The Steelers, I feel like they're going to want to try to play hard and want to get a win, especially losing to a team like Cincinnati. To me, I think they're going to want to try to get a win against Green Bay. So I got them sitting at 4-3 right now as well.
Okay. Colts, week 9. We got the Colts. I'm going to say this is a win. This is at home for the Steelers. They've lost the past 2 years versus the Colts. They got to get back in the win column versus them. They got to have their number again. So I'm gonna say they get a win versus the Colts.
See, this one. I mean, Dan will tell you this one was a toss up for me just based off the 2 years. And again, like I stated earlier in the stream, I know it was in Indianapolis, but Shane Steichen, since he's been the Colts head coach, he just seems to have the Steelers number for one reason or another, despite whoever the quarterback is, whether that's Gardner Minshew, Joe Flacco, Anthony Richardson, Danny Dimes. It's just, I don't know. I can only hope that it's a lot better in a hostile environment with the game being in Pittsburgh. But some tells me that they're going to lose to the Colts for a 3rd straight year. I don't know why. It just something tells me, for 3 straight years, which would just be really ridiculous. Maybe they lean heavily on Jonathan Taylor and that defense. I have no idea.
Well, I hope our run defense is really as advertised this year, isn't it?
It freaking better be. I'll tell you that right now. With the moves that they made and the draft that they had. But no, I got the Steelers losing to the Colts, unfortunately, and I got them sitting at 4-4 right now.
All right, I am at 5-3. We are halfway through. So where are you guys at in the chat? I see 5-3 by Nathan. I see 5-3 by Elias. 7-0 by Maxwell. 5-3 versus Indy, says Digital. So everyone's kind of on the same wavelength here. We just might end up last in the division this season. Okay, I don't think we'll be worse than the Browns.
I hope not.
I don't think we'll be worse than the Browns. I don't think that, no. Let's see. Where we at? Week 10 now, right? Versus the Chargers on Sunday night. I say we get a win. We always play well against the Chargers. We always play well over in Chargers territory. So I'm going to say this is a win, and the Steelers sit at 6-3 after week 10.
Yeah, this is a dub to me. Prime time Sunday night again, though it's, on the West Coast. It's an away game, but it's like when it comes to the Steelers and away games in the West Coast, it just feels like a home game.
Right.
I remember 2019, I think it was Duck Hodges who started Sunday night when Phillip Rivers was still the quarterback for the Chargers. I remember that. Man, I mean, like the whole stadium was just overrun with Steelers Nation.
Well, who remembers the Monday night game in 2015 when Michael Vick started?
Yeah. It was just overrun.
Ben was still hurt from that Rams game a couple weeks back. Mike Vick had to come in as a start in prime time and nailed a bomb to Marcus Wheaton for a touchdown, one of the few we had all game. Maybe the only one we had all game outside the Bell touchdown. He threw a laser dart to Heath at the 1 yard line. Wildcat. Bell puts it in as time runs down.
That's right.
Steelers Nation, they just fill the stadium versus the Chargers. So I think it's gonna be the same. I like their odds over there.
Yeah,
Pittsburgh West.
The Steelers had the Chargers number last season. I think it was a week 3 matchup and whatnot.
Yeah.
They had their number last year. They had a good performance. Fields had a good performance actually, but
well, I think the Chargers are a better team, but I still think the Steelers.
No, because after that, the Chargers showcase, they're a capable team.
Yeah.
They're a real solid team, but I think the Steelers continue to have their number. I think they continue to have Jim Harbaugh's number.
It's just the Harbaughs, man. You know what I'm saying? Plus, Greg Roman, they know how to coach up against them, being that he was the Ravens OC for how many years.
Yeah.
Steelers got everything that they could in terms of game planning versus the Chargers there. So I think a lot of the chat is agreeing. 6-3. I see Digital, Nathan, Electric, Mercs, and Sandwave all agreeing on 6-3. Although Matt says tied. So we'll see.
There's always a tie in there.
You guys keep putting tie in the chat. I'm starting to think we might actually get a tie this year.
I don't know, man. But right now I'm sitting at 5-4.
Week 11 versus the Cincinnati Bengals. Our second matchup versus the Bengals. I'm going to say we split. This is a dub at our house.
Yeah. At home, considering I said that we split, we lost to them early in the season, we get a win this time. We get our win back in Cincinnati. And I would have the Steelers sitting at 6-4 right now here. 6-4.
Electric, I agree. 7-3 with Rudolph at QB1 is crazy, not going to lie. It's that defense. Igvero just could be that defense.
Well, who remembers 2019? I keep saying 2018. 2019, they were 8-5 at one point. Until they choked the season away. But yeah, they were 8-5 at one point with Mason and Duck.
Yeah, speaking of choking the season away. Sorry, guys. So 7-3 after splitting with the Bengals at week 11. Week 12 versus the Bears. Again, to refresh your mind, we haven't beat the Bears in Chicago since 1995. Now they have a heavily offensive-minded head coach, a new quarterback, a bulk of receiving weapons. This is a loss to me. We lose to the Bears, in my opinion.
We just don't have great history in Chicago. And it doesn't matter what type of team Chicago is. The Steelers just don't bode well in Chicago. For some odd reason, they just don't.
So I'm sitting at 7-4.
This is 6-5 for me.
Okay. Bills.
6-6.
7-5. We lose to the Bills. Ravens.
First matchup.
Week
14. I mean, the NFL knew what they were doing, having the Ravens matchups be way later into the season.
Yeah, I kind of like that. I like that they have the Steelers-Ravens matchups later because that's obviously where it's more intense and more important.
Yeah, it makes it more of a must-watch. I mean, it's always must-watch, but more of a must-watch, big fight feel, as it should be.
It means a lot more. It's very, very investing.
But for the first Ravens matchup, considering this is in Baltimore, and the past 2 times in Baltimore hasn't been great for the Steelers, and right now, I'm going to say that 3 straight times in Baltimore doesn't bode well for the Steelers. I have them going 6-7.
So I'm at 7-6 after a loss to the Ravens. So we were sitting at 7-3, but losses to the Bears, Bills, and Ravens, losing 3 straight puts us at 7-6.
And I had the Steelers at 6-4 after winning against Cincinnati, but losing to Chicago, Buffalo, and Baltimore, losing 3 straight.
How's the chat feeling? I'll be very interested to see your guys' opinions here. Ben Johnson destroys the defense, says electric visuals. That is my fear. Elias is 7-6. Kingston says 5-7. Robert says 10-0. Elias is 7-6 after loss to Bills and Ravens. Digital Dust says 7-5, 7-6. Kingston switched up and said 5-5-8. Merck says 7-4. Nathan says 7-6. Sandwave says 7-6. Cordman Tommy said 8-4. Robert Maxwell says 10-1. I'm Happy says 6-7. So we're all kind of on the same length. Aaron Deck already gives us his final score or a record prediction, 9-8. So to recap, I'm at 7-6. You're at 6-7.
6-7.
Week 15 versus the Miami Dolphins.
Monday
Night
night
Football. We're in the Color Rush unis. This is a win against Tua in the cold and winter football for the Dolphins. Yeah, I don't like their odds there. So I think this is going to be a good game by the defense. I think we get a win versus the Dolphins in primetime.
Yeah, and this would be a much necessary bounce-back win for the Steelers. Monday night, primetime at home.
In his conference.
And you need this dub after losing 3 straight according to our prediction. So this is 7-7 right here. So we're back at 500.
Yeah, I'm at 8-6.
Well, I'm at 7-7.
Week 16 versus the Lions. That's a loss.
This is, remember doing the predictions last year when we automatically said, yeah, the Chiefs game is a loss? This is how I feel about Detroit.
I feel the same way about Detroit and Buffalo.
Yeah. This is a loss.
Loss. So I'm sitting at 8-7 after a loss to the Lions.
I'm 7-8.
See, at least I've always been within the 500 region. You're kind of like below it.
7-8.
All right. Week 17.
Keep in mind, if I say one more loss, like, that's it.
So you're at 7-8.
7-8.
All right. I'm at 8-7. Week 17 versus the Cleveland Browns at Cleveland, our second and final matchup versus the Browns. This is a loss, in my opinion. 8-8 at week 17.
You got a loss to the Browns?
A split, yes.
That's right. You did say that you have the Steelers
Winning at home, but losing here.
but splitting
It's
with,
the most
with the entire
Steelers.
division.
It's the most Steelers thing ever to just lose at this stage of the season.
I'm going to say, even with our situation and the roster, I say we still sweep the Browns.
Mm-hmm.
I do.
I would love nothing
I'm
more
going to
than
say that right now. I think we sweep the Browns. So, therefore, we are back at 500 at 8-8.
So we're both saying 8-8.
Yes.
All right.
Yes, we are. You see how both our paths intertwine right here for week
Meet
18?
in the middle. Week 18 versus the Ravens. This could determine a playoff spot, and most importantly, for Mike Tomlin's sake, this is going to determine if he has his first losing season. Oh my God.
Yeah, his job's really on the line right here.
Yeah, really. Said no one ever. This is a win. We split with the Ravens. And the reason I say that is because I think the Ravens are going to sit their starters. I think they'll either clinch the conference or they'll clinch something to the point they don't have to play Henry or Flowers or Andrews if he stays there. Likely, Lamar, obviously. I think the Ravens are going to bench their starters, or even if they don't, I think the Steelers in general split with the Ravens. So this is a win. The Steelers finish 9-8. Mike Tomlin escapes again.
According to your prediction.
Oh. Whoa. Hold on.
I got them winning.
Okay. Had me in the
against
first
Ravens.
half, not going to lie.
Yes. Had to tease you guys for a little bit. Now, the Steelers, I believe that they will beat the Ravens week 18, whether the Ravens sit their starters or not. I think that's more likely the case that they will, but the Steelers, at that point, they could still be within a playoff picture rank. They could be. I mean, like, under Mike Tomlin, if I have to give Tomlin, he's proven that the Steelers are within a playoff reach, a playoff rank within week 18.
Or it could be a situation where they lose to the Browns week 17 and they're knocked out of the playoffs.
That, and the only thing that they're fighting for is a winning season.
For
Mike Tomlin is fighting for that winning season to keep that streak alive.
I don't know. We never know how the season's going to go. But my final score prediction is 9-8, and the Steelers finished 2-5 in their last 7 because an end of season collapse is the most Steelers thing to do.
Yeah.
And looking at the team right now with no starting quarterback and no wide receiver too, that's the best I can get. I think that the team is going to escape just enough based off of the run game and the defense because that's how they win football games. That's how they've been running for how many years now? And nothing's going to change. That's not going to change. They're going to run the same old situation, garbage, mediocre football for another season like they have for the last however many years. And they're going to be right in the middle like they always have. They're not going further. They're not going backward. They're there. So I think that's the prediction, in my opinion, is 9-8. But they have a December collapse. And then the season collapse again. That's my prediction.
Yeah.
So a repeat. That's my prediction.
Repeated the same old every year. I mean, at best, I see them going 9-8. I don't see them getting double-digit wins. I don't see them getting 10 wins. I sure as hell don't see them getting 11 wins. Absolutely no way can I see that.
No.
And I can't see them having a losing season. Under Mike Tomlin, I can't envision it. I can't see it. Not until it actually does happen. I'd be shocked if it happens.
Yeah,
if there's a year for it to happen, it's this year.
Well, we thought that in 2019, and it didn't happen. The rise of that defense.
Tomlin has indicated and he's shown and proven that he can be within the ranks and he can have a winning season even with subpar quarterback play.
Yeah, we give Tomlin a lot of criticism because, much like we're expecting or predicting this year, it's going to be the same situation again. But I guess that's what he's really good at, is just staying complacent at where they've been stuck at and staying within 500.
Where does it take the Steelers?
It keeps us at pick 20, Bobby. That's what it does.
Right in the middle. Where the Steelers have been for several years. So that's all I expect. I expect nothing but a repeat of the same old.
So let's see what the chat thinks. Let's see what the chat thinks. So 8 or 9 or 9-8 for you guys, says Elias. Sandwave says, I agree. This is a part of our yearly script with different characters. That's all it is.
Yeah, it's like Sandwave says. Same movie, just sums it up.
6-11, we get Clemson quarterback. Says Kingston. Really? You like the Clemson quarterback? Is he gonna? I mean, I think if the Steelers don't move, I think he could be there. He's not my favorite quarterback selection, but we'll see what he does this year. There's gonna be a ton of quarterbacks. There's gonna be a ton of quarterbacks that are gonna be within that first round talks. It's a little more deep than last year, I'll tell you that, or this past year. 9-8, 7th seed says Digital Dust. Robert Maxwell
one
says
and done.
Yeah, he says one and done. Yes.
Yeah.
Robert Maxwell says sweep. 12-3. Well, I guess his final prediction would be, what would it be?
12-5.
12-5. So a lot of you guys are kind of on the same wavelength. 9-8, 10-7, 9-8, 8-9, 8-1, 6-11, 9-8, 7 seed, 1 and done, says Digital. 18-0. Bro, with this team?
Yeah, that's not happening.
Not 9-6-2. That's a different one. James, that's
two ties.
That's a new one. When was the last time a team tied twice in the same season?
I don't think it's ever happened.
It puts them over 500. Electric Visual says 8-9.
It'd be one of them weird, stupid records that happened like way back in the 30s or 40s, and of course the Steelers would be a part of those records because they've been a part of bad records from those times.
So Malik Lawson and Electric Visuals both say 8-9. First losing season. Slumpy says 9-8 with current team, 10-7 or 11-6 with Rodgers and any decent wide receiver too. I mean, Khan did say there's plenty of time between now and then, so still time to make moves, still time to upgrade the offense in a way, if you want to call it that, an upgrade, I guess. I don't think Rodgers does too much for us. I don't think he improves us that much.
No, and I want to throw this out there with our record stance. Now, I don't want to speak for you. I'm speaking for myself right here. Whether A-Rod is a quarterback or not, I don't think that makes a difference, record-wise. I don't think it makes a lick of a difference. Not in my opinion. I can't really see A-Rod really providing any greater lengths. At most, maybe one win, but then again, you just have another 10-win season, which is whatever. At that point, you're probably more fitting on clinching a playoff berth, to which we all know the outcome. It's just, in the end, it's just nothing but the same.
Right.
That's just how I feel.
I wouldn't disagree. I just don't think he advances us any further.
And that's my point. I just don't see him taking us anywhere else.
No, not anywhere past where we've been.
No.
So at the end of the day, is there a point? I think the biggest positive of bringing in Aaron Rodgers would be, what would that do for a guy like Will Howard? What would that do for his growth and his knowledge? You know how much of a competitor, how much of a sponge he is, soaking up so much knowledge. Imagine him sitting under Aaron Rodgers. I'm not saying Aaron Rodgers is the perfect mentor, because I think he is a man-child. I don't think he's the perfect mentor for anybody, but in terms of his knowledge and what he could lend to a guy like Will Howard, I think that would be great for someone like him.
I mean, just case in point, Jordan Love. I mean, just look what Jordan Love has been doing for Green Bay since he's taken over.
Yeah, I mean, slim down the turnovers and see where he can really go.
Yes, of course, Love's got to work on that, but, like, Love, I mean, he indicated, like, yeah, he is the guy for Green Bay.
Yeah, but other than that, that's probably the biggest positive he makes for the Steelers is the development for Howard, maybe. Otherwise, that would make Howard the 3 all year, because I don't think he's being the 2 over Mason. At least not immediately.
And basically just being
redshirted,
healthy and active every game.
And then we're going to inevitably get a quarterback. Would Howard be able to get a chance with that guy? I'd hope so. In year 2.
Have it be a fair competition.
Otherwise, he makes, I don't know, very little difference. Maybe like a 1-2 game difference, if that. Maybe. I just don't see anything too crazy happening to the Steelers if they sign Aaron Rodgers. It's going to make worldwide news. Oh, my Aaron Rodgers finally signs with the Steelers. Like, he has been pondering on this for 3 months now. But that's about it.
Yeah, I mean, like, he visited the Steelers facility for 6 hours. You're in a facility for 6 hours and you still can't make up your mind. What are you doing?
Well, it's crazy. After the end of the draft, I said the only thing we really got looking forward to now outside of the schedule release was Aaron Rodgers' announcement. Except Pickens got traded before that.
Yeah.
And now we got Aaron Rodgers to look forward to, and then potentially the addition or trade for a wide receiver too. So we got a little more to look forward to before the season starts.
I suppose it's something.
Just a matter of when
it's just
it happens.
more build up, more anticipation, and like you said, it's just a matter of like when the news does hit.
I don't think there's gonna be any build up either. It's just gonna be something that happens out of the blue. Like, you'll be in the middle of your day doing activities, going on with life, and then boom.
Is it one of those odds that A-Rod just steps away from wherever he's sitting at and visits the Steelers one more time?
Probably. Oh yeah, he's not gonna call Tomlin. Yeah, I'm ready to sign with the Pittsburgh Steelers. And,
in his low pitch tone voice,
he's probably
the Steelers are a great historic organization. I have a lot of respect for them and whatnot. Then sign with the fucking team, bro.
He's probably just gonna go to Pittsburgh and then sign he's not gonna do it over the phone.
No.
Although he looks like a guy that would do it over the phone, but it's gonna be one of those things he does it in person, because there's gonna be a huge press conference. Oh my God! And honestly, I really don't want to see it. I really don't care for it, but it's all we got. It's all we got going for this season, especially seeing our week 1 opponent.
But I mean, and we say that all off season. As a fan, I just don't see the purpose, because I know what the outcome's going to be. The Steelers may think differently, but you're really going to put all your eggs in the basket for a 41-year-old quarterback that didn't do anything with the Jets, and you think he's going to do something with you?
Right.
I just don't know, man. I just feel like it'd just be nothing but a waste of a season. Honestly, I just consider the season as a mini rebuild, as a mini reload, and just give guys like a Caleb Johnson, a Roman Wilson, considering the quarterback situation, and Mason Rudolph, or even a Will Howard, a true opportunity to see, what kind of guys can stick around, a part of that mini rebuild.
Give them as many reps as possible.
Yeah, give them that chance, because if A-Rod signs with the Steelers, Mason's only going to be the backup, of course, and Will Howard, I don't really see him being given that chance. Like I'm sure many Steelers fans want to see. Like I want to see. I want to see Will Howard be given that chance. I want to see what he could potentially do.
Yeah, but realistically, if they sign Aaron Rodgers, when will
That's not going to happen.
When will that come? When they're drafting a quarterback next year?
That will not happen for Will Howard.
Now,
he's the ultimate competitor.
I'm not saying it's going to happen this year if Aaron Rodgers doesn't sign, but there's a greater chance of it happening.
If Aaron Rodgers doesn't sign, there's a greater chance of Will Howard potentially playing.
Depends how the Steelers look at the season.
Well, according to Connor's comments, I mean, they're vying for a Super Bowl.
They're not doing that.
They're not winning a championship.
If Aaron Rodgers signs, I think it's going to be a post-June 1st signing.
Well, we only got a couple
weeks.
Yeah, we do.
We got a couple weeks.
That's it.
So English. Do you guys think Aaron Rodgers is going to sign, and when do you guys think he's going to sign? Let us know in the live chat. This is a prove yourself year for so many positions. That's why I'm looking forward to seeing. Yeah, Sandwave, I agree. I mean, that can be said about a lot of guys, especially Broderick Jones. My guy, he really needs to just step it up this year.
This is a crucial year for Broderick.
Bro, he is staying at left tackle. There's no right tackle talk. Fatano, if he stays healthy, he's going to be there. And I don't want to see Broderick back over there if Fatano doesn't.
You're not moving Broderick over if, knock on wood, something were to happen. You're not moving him back. You're keeping him at left because you don't have any backup at left.
So we're keeping him at left. He really needs to just play his best football. He's at his natural position, but he's been away from it for literally 2 years. One career start in the NFL versus the Ravens a year ago, 2 seasons ago, actually.
No, it was because Dan Moore got hurt. I think he had a concussion.
Yeah.
Broderick had to step in as a rookie. His lone start at left tackle, and he was an absolute anchor. It was the best he ever played.
But he hasn't played that position ever since.
No, he hasn't.
Yeah, he's going to have to lock in. Who else needs to lock in? Joey Porter Jr., for sure. I'd argue Minka. Just based off his contract. Based off of the contract and the cap hit he's going to have next 2 years, he's definitely going to have to bring back that Minka ball.
As far as impact, man,
I'd say Patrick Queen's definitely going to have to step up this year. Who else would you put in that?
The whole line, really. And I know it's young. It's got a lot of talent, a lot of upside. McCormick had a very solid rookie year, having to play and start as many games as I'm sure not many people expected, but he did due to the injuries to James Daniels and whatnot. He stepped up. Frazier was a dog last year. That's my freaking center. Frazier's great. I love the youth of the offensive line. I love the potential, but the whole group altogether, even Sayamalu being the veteran of the offensive line, I thought he had a very rough second year as the Steelers left guard for a second year as the Steeler. He's going to have to step up as a veteran there.
Yeah, but otherwise, you look at that entire O-line, it's all rookie contracts. Broderick, Frazier, McCormick, and Fatano.
Yes, it is.
Very young, a lot of potential. A lot of guys in there that are just locker room people. You know what I mean? It's going to be interesting to see how they mold, but obviously the biggest issue is, one, staying healthy, and two, Pat Meyer, who's still around.
Yes, he is.
Why? I don't know, but he's still here. So he's the guy that's going to be coaching up a lot of these young studs. Roman Fatanu, Holcomb need to stay healthy and show they can play, says Digital Dust. I agree. Fatanu, man, this is going to be one of those really, really serious seasons for him, because if he gets hurt again, there's going to be a lot of doubt from a lot of Steelers fans.
Yeah. That's something you don't want.
There's already people viewing him as a bust. Oh, he got hurt in year 1. He's a bust. If he gets hurt in year 2, we'll never hear the end of it.
Nope.
He's going to have to stay healthy. Same thing with Roman. I don't want to see him as a Senquez Golson, where he was a day 2 pick and never played a single snap. The only thing is Roman played a single snap, but he played 5 actually. But I don't want to see a day 2 pick being wasted because he can't stay healthy. Roman's got to stay healthy. Holcomb, he's probably going to be the third guy, but he's going to be a serious rotational guy in run game situations.
Coming back from such a gruesome injury, knee injury, being out for a year and whatnot, what condition is he going to be in?
Right.
I look forward to see how his recovery is and what he can bring, because I felt before the injury, he was a pretty solid damn inside linebacker for us paired with Roberts.
Right.
So his recovery is going to be something to look forward to.
Right.
Absolutely.
Aaron Derrick says, I don't care what anybody says. Pickens not being on the field makes this team worse. DK was Pickens' replacement from the very beginning. 1 step forward, 2 steps back. I don't disagree, AD. The team is definitely worse because Pickens, the talent isn't there. Our receiving core is definitely worse because if it were in the same situation we were in literally a year ago. I don't disagree with you.
But it's not anything like last year, according to Omar Khan.
It's everything like last year.
It is.
It's just with the worst quarterback room.
And an older number 2 wide receiver.
And a better number 1 wide receiver in DK. I get what you're saying, AD. Yeah, Pickens not being on the team does make it worse. But we know why they traded him. We know exactly why they traded him. And for that reason, I
can't blame them.
I don't blame them at all.
It's understandable. It's nothing but a business move.
But, man, they better have a plan in set. They better be working the phones.
Well, they better pray to whatever God that they believe in, that Roman Wilson is the guy, that he can stay healthy, that he can make that jump.
If he can be the number 2, then Calabunga. Let's go. Let me see. Sandwave says I'm looking at Broderick, Minka, Patrick Queen, JPJ, and that left side of the O-line. Any disappointment, it's bye-bye. Yeah, I agree. Like if JPJ doesn't bounce back, if he continues the penalties, yeah, I mean, we're going to have to look at a serious cornerback 1 situation again.
Well, not just cornerback 1, but 2 cornerbacks, because Darius Slay's only here a year.
You're right.
He's not staying 2 years.
Yeah, the entire cornerback position. And the slot position is still up in the air. Can Beanie Bishop take it? Is that going to be Sebastian Castro?
Brendan Eccles, who we brought in from the Jets?
I mean, the entire corner core is kind of questionable. From a roster aspect, it's better than last year, but for the future, it's a little questionable. So, yeah, JPJ alone is going to have to step up, being that QB1 or that CB1.
Yeah.
Electric Video says Troy Fatano and Roman Wilson. I agree. If they can stay healthy, man. Those are 2 guys I was looking very forward to last year, along with, Peyton Wilson, obviously. Peyton Wilson showed out. I think he's going to be an incredible player for us. Those 2, unfortunately, their rookie years were just plagued with injuries. So was most of last year's class. They need to stay healthy. If they do, this is going to be a very interesting year to see how they can jumpstart their Steelers careers, man.
Yeah.
Because they have a lot of potential. The Steelers have a lot of faith in those guys. I want to see what they're capable of, especially a guy like Fatano. We need that line fixed. Roman Wilson, he's got a huge opportunity coming his way. He had it last year, and unfortunately, a jet sweep took it away from him. This year, hopefully that doesn't happen.
Yeah, I mean, like last year's rookie class was just riddled with injuries. I mean, the only healthy guys were Frazier and Wilson and even McCormick at that.
Right.
Basically. Everybody else was just, Tano was hurt, Roman Wilson was hurt, Logan Lee was out, Ryan Watts, who unfortunately is no longer to play football due to a serious neck injury that he can't play football no more.
Yeah. It's unfortunate.
Yeah. So it's like, hopefully these guys can stay healthy.
I'm hoping so. Otherwise, I mean, you look at the previous draft classes, so much potential. I think based off of Kevin Colbert's last couple draft classes and Omar's first 3, I think it's night and day. But these players still got to show out. Broderick, JPJ, Ben should see more playing time this year. I think he's already been a solid pick, but he needs more playing time for sure. Fatano, Roman, y'all got to stay healthy. Otherwise, if they don't, then Omar, man, oof. I like Omar. I like his vision. I want to trust it, but if these guys don't show out this year, bro, listen, Omar, I'm not saying he's going to get fired because the Steelers don't do that, especially to the front office, but he's going to get critiqued by a lot of people. So it's a big year for all those players, man. Most importantly this year, think of this year how you want. Look at the schedule and think of this year how you want. What's going to be most important to me is the development and the improvements that everyone from the draft classes have made from the year before. From 2023's draft class, 2024's draft class, and how immediate these guys can be for 2025. That's what it's all about this year for me, is what does the future hold? Are these guys going to be capable of being the future? Are these guys actually going to be a part of the future? That's what excites me the most.
I mean, we're talking about Broderick Jones and his uncertainty, him finally being over the left tackle, but he's missed action for 2 years over there. JPJ, he had a sophomore slump in his second year. He really wasn't as impactful as he was in his rookie year. How's he going to be heading into his third year, carrying the Porter legacy and having that responsibility as cornerback 1? Keanu Benton even, some people considered or thought that he sort of regressed compared to his rookie year. I thought he had a fine second year. It wasn't, out of this world. It wasn't as impactful as I may have thought, but I thought he had a fine second year. But some people are even looking at Ben as like, is he really the guy at nose tackle, or is he really going to be a part of the future for defensive line? I think he is.
I don't think he should be playing nose tackle.
I think he should be moved outside, but it looks like the Steelers are still going to be keeping him at nose tackle, at least for now.
Well, I don't think they're going to put Harmon there.
No, he's playing outside. He's opposite of Hayward.
Yeah, he's opposite Hayward, and then Ben will play 3 tech in sub packages.
Yeah.
How frequent that will be, I don't know, but I think we got to get Benton on the field more for sure. I think him and Harmon on the field together, I think that's the future. That's the vision there. Sandwave says, do you guys think Connor Hayward will get cut? Yes. He's not a good fullback. He's not a good fullback at all. Last year proved that. In fact, I think that one undrafted free agent dude we brought in, what's his name?
J.J. Galbraith.
Is that his name?
Yes.
Yeah, I think he could take the spot.
Well, apparently he's an athlete. He's standing out. He stood out in rookie minicamp with his athleticism and whatnot. Plus, they signed another tight end and Donald Parham. If he makes the roster, I have no idea. But they have a very loaded tight end group. You know, they're looking to change it up a little bit. Darnell Washington should see more playing time, more receiving opportunities, in my opinion. Muth, he's coming off a fresh extension from last offseason.
You talking J.J. Galbraith or DJ Thomas Jones?
No, Thomas Jones is the fullback.
That's what I'm talking about.
Oh, is that who you're talking about?
Connor Hayward ain't no fucking tight end.
No, he's not.
No, I'm saying
No, he's
fullback. Who's the primary fullback when Arthur Smith runs I for him?
Yeah, it's Connor Hayward.
Okay, so I'm
Yeah,
talking
he's not
about
good.
the fullback that we brought in.
Yeah. Well, I was looking at Galbraith too because he's more the athlete than the other guy. But the other guy is more of a primary fullback.
Well,
And
yeah,
he's
if
got
you-
the build for a fullback.
Yeah, if you're talking primary fullback, I think he could take the spot.
Okay, yeah, there we go.
I think he could take the spot.
Yeah.
Although, yeah, I don't want to take it away the spot from Galbraith either. I mean, we'll see we'll see what he's capable as well. But I don't think Connor Hayward's gonna make the roster. He'll be on the practice squad for obvious reasons.
Not hard to see why.
Muth needs to use his size more, bro. Getting tossed around, fumbling and shit. Says Electric Visuals. He's not as aggressive as I thought he would be. You know, for a time position, you ought to think, you know, maybe he'd be a little more intense. He's not. He's pretty soft for a tight end. I think he's a reliable receiver. He's just not someone I would trust to get a lot of yardage after the catch or to break tackles or get a lot of yak. I think Muth could definitely, you know, be a little more physical, but they locked him down for however many years.
Yeah, they paid him.
See, if you want physicality at the time position, get Darnell involved more. Why is he being used as just a blocker?
Oh, Darnell's even able to hurdle freaking defenders.
He's athletic.
He got a 6'8", 275 they said he weighs. and He's
not-
hurling people.
He's not the most athletic. He's very, very stiff in the hips.
He can move though.
But he can move.
He can move. He can go. He can play.
Broderick Jones, what the fuck are you doing? Oh, is that a reference to what game was that?
The Broncos?
I think it was.
Yeah, where he had 3 penalties on that drive. The false start and it was 2 holdings.
Yeah, that Broncos game last year. Darnell is Myles Garrett's daddy. Honestly, bro, I think we ought to pair Broderick and Darnell on that same left side together. I mean, there's already chemistry from the Georgia days. You got to help Broderick out.
Yeah, what
He's
was
clearly your weakest tackle.
I think it was that Thursday night game when it snowed and whatnot. James Winston was the quarterback. I'm talking about last year. I think Garrett had, 2 or 3 sacks in that game?
Yeah.
Yeah, Dan Moore was left by himself. Yeah, Dan Moore trying to block Myles Garrett,
no chipping.
despite his familiarity going up against him.
Yeah, you got everyone and their grandmama chipping TJ Watt, but you got no one chipping Myles Garrett. Good game plan, Tomlin.
Or how do I gotta bring up the Bengals game? Trey Hendrickson, he had 3.5 sacks.
Yeah.
I'm glad Dan Moore's gone. I can only hope that Broderick is much better. But I hope to God that they are actually more smart and wise at trying to stop and prevent pressure from premier pass rushers.
Right. No, I hope so too. Electric says he's just preparing for the season. I hear you. You know what? Maybe we ought to start preparing for the season. And wherever you want to call out a player, you want to say a phrase, you want to get your drink on, you got to get the swear jar filled up. Listen, it's never too early. We got however many months now? What, 4? 4 months from now.
Yep.
God, such a long time. But we're already in mid-May, folks. Mid-May. Before we know it, we'll be in Latrobe watching players in training camp, hearing reports and all that, seeing what rookies shine up, who's making splashes, who's going to make that push. We'll be here before we know it, man. Time is really moving this year. We're already in mid-May.
Yes, we are.
It's crazy stuff, man. Electric Visual says, my surprising player this year is Sebastian Castro. Will be the day one starter next year. I sure hope so. I think he's got the makings to be like another Mike Hilton. He's physical with the line, man. Very intense. He's always around the ball. He's always around the ball carry. He gives a pop. Strong tackler. We'll see what his coverage skills are. That's my biggest worry with him is his coverage skills. But he reminds me of Mike Hilton in just the way that he's just his hustle, his way of attacking the ball carrier, the way he's able to wrap him up and hit him, get him to the ground early, get in the backfield, make plays down there.
Yeah.
That's very significant for a nickel player. For a slot corner, it's quintessential to the Steelers scheme. So I'm hoping he can really shine in that factor. Not taking anything away from Beanie. I think Castro's just, a little bigger and a better tackler coming out of college.
I mean, just having a pair of rotations, rotating duo, kind of like what the Steelers had when Cam Sutton, his first stint when he was good with the Steelers, and when Mike Hilton was there, when they had the rotations there at the nickel, they just made it a little bit more unpredictable, but they used them wisely, used them smart. You know what I mean? Like Sutton with his coverage ability and Hilton with his blitzing ability, his run-stopping ability. They can kind of find that same rhythm, that same mix with Castro if he really continues to stick out in training camp.
What about Corey Trice?
Or Corey Trice too, yeah.
We'll see if Corey Trice can stay healthy. This is going to be a big year for Corey Trice. If he can stay healthy, that's going to inherit a lot of trust from the Steelers. Because maybe they view Corey Trice as a future piece. Like James Pierre or some sort. You remember how the Steelers were so heavy on James Pierre as an undrafted guy? Well, I think Corey Trice can be a lot better than James Pierre. He just needs to stay healthy. And then you got him learning from Darius Slay. I think that's something the Steelers are trying to bank on. This is a big year for Corey Trice. It's a big year for a lot of people, but in terms of, what their future holds and their roles and how the Steelers look at them, Broderick's up there. You look at Fatanu, he's up there. Roman, right? I'd put Corey Trice up in that same category. I know for a 7th-round pick, he might be getting a lot of hype from people, and maybe the Steelers are banking too much on someone like that, especially with his injury history. It doesn't bode well. But in terms of that trust and how they want to build with certain guys, the Steelers want to see what they're capable of. So, big year coming for Corey Trice.
It is.
It's an important year for him just as much as it is for Broderick. Biggs Mixed Steel says, guys, I got to go to Three Rivers twice. Once against the Ravens in the other game versus the Panthers, man.
Damn.
It was obviously before they tore it down and then built up Heinz Field. There's a seat and a pad up there from the final season, December 16th, 2000.
That's right.
Surprised that thing's still up there.
Yeah, it's still holding up, yeah.
I'm just waiting for it.
That's from Three Rivers, man.
It is. Gotta get that frame somehow. But I like the way it's angled and it shows the padded seat. Pretty cool. I'm just waiting for that thing to fall in one of these streams. Surprised it hasn't yet. Maybe one of these. Maybe it'll happen versus the Jets. Maybe it'll happen during the preseason.
Yeah, speaking of preseason, they released that schedule.
Oh, they did, yes.
Yes, they did. They released that schedule, and surprisingly, the Panthers are the final team the Steelers will play for week 3 of the preseason.
There you go.
Wow, color me shocked. They just couldn't help themselves at all whatsoever.
So what's the schedule? So was it September 7th, I said, is week 1 versus the Jets?
Yes.
So that's when the games count, but we don't have to wait that long for some Steeler action. You guys want to see the rookies? Y'all want to see Mason, Will Howard in action? We got preseason. I can't wait for that. You got the schedule?
I thought I had it. What the heck happened? 1 second. Hold on. I thought I had it.
Let's go to the trusted Twitter.
Must accidentally close it out. Give me 1 second.
I got it. Week 1 of the preseason, August 9th. That's a Saturday. Versus the Jaguars. Week 2 of the preseason, August 16th. That's a Saturday. At home versus the Bucks. Week 3, that's a Thursday, August 21st versus the Panthers. Those are your 3 preseason games.
There you go.
Can't wait for that. You guys know we'll be live for that. It'll be interesting to see these rookies. I'm mostly looking forward to Caleb Johnson, Will Howard, obviously Derek Harmon. We'll see what they're capable of. See what reps they're going to get, how much time they're going to play, how immediate their roles are going to be. I'm hoping they're a little more immediate than most of the rookies we've seen in recent years.
Yeah.
I think it's necessary. And for this season, give them all the reps as possible. I think it's very important. Somber says Castro might just be a nickel. We don't know what he is either. Well, that's what I think he is. He's going to be the nickel guy. He'll be a sub-package nickel guy. I wonder how soon Dante Kent will see playing time. Predict a good year from him and Elliott. Yeah, Kent, I mean, it's a loaded corner group. So I don't know how much playing time he's going to get or what teams he's going to run with. Probably the second or third team, I would imagine. So we'll see if he can move his way up the ranks. He might secure himself a roster spot based off of his special teams ability. Maybe he's a guy that could chase James Pierre for that 53 spot at the corner area for the special teams. Maybe he finds a spot in the practice squad. It'll be interesting to see where he finds his role, man.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be a tough ladder for a guy like Kent
to
climb his way onto the roster. But, he's a fighter. He's a guy that's a competitor and whatnot. But I do think that special teams, at least to start, is definitely going to be something that is going to probably catch the Steelers' eye. It definitely did for the college level and whatnot. And something that, he can get his feet wet and just hold on to that role for the beginning of his career.
Digital Dust says Dan Moore couldn't block a parked car. He couldn't block the Twitter account if he tried. Dan Moore, listen, props to Dan Moore on getting the bag and being the starter for the last 4 years. It wasn't an enjoyable watch, but that's something. But he gave us a 3rd-round pick for next year, so we appreciate you, fam.
Thanks for the headache.
Let's Go Sports says Dan Moore was buns. I still can't believe he got an $80 million contract, but that's fine. He wasn't worth that much, so it's fine. We let him go. Yeah, we get a 3rd-round comp next year, and prayers to Cam Ward.
Indeed.
Legitimately. Yes, Hilton is still a free agent, but I'm not interested. We already got one aging corner. Do we need another?
Hell, Asante Samuel Jr., He's still a free agent.
But he's going through some injuries. He just had knee surgery, I think?
I did hear about that, yeah, so that makes all the sense in the world.
Yeah, for those wondering why Asante Samuel Jr. hasn't been signed yet, he just got out of surgery, neck surgery.
Neck surgery?
Yeah.
Oof.
Free agent cornerback Asante Samuel Jr. underwent neck surgery in April after missing most of the 2024 season due to injury, according to ESPN's Jeremy Fowler. He is planning to play this season, but is waiting until an early July checkup to sign with a new team. I don't know if he'll...
I don't think that's what the Steelers.
No, I don't think so either.
I do think that they'll be... I think, as a matter of fact, I think they are content with the cornerback group.
I think they are too. That's why they signed the guy... Oh, it's not signed. They drafted a guy like Dante Kent just to kind of just add more bodies there. Wait till you guys see Sawyer seal the edge. Really something to see. I know a lot of people don't understand the Jack Sawyer pick. I do. I think the 4th edge piece is pretty important based off what the Steelers have run in for several years and the injuries that we've had at that position, just based off last year. Jeremiah Moon had to start versus the Raiders. Remember that?
Yep.
Remember when we had, what was his name? Former Broncos edge.
Malik Reed.
Malik Reed. Terrible. That was before we drafted Nick Herbig and had Marcus Golden.
Remember Cassius Marsh?
Yes. Oh God.
Cassius Marsh. Yeah.
That
a lot of bad depth.
That's why we drafted Jack Sawyer. That's exactly why we drafted Jack Sawyer. It makes sense. You want to stack up the depth. You want to make sure that Watt and Highsmith are as
conditioned and healthy and fresh, especially in the later stretch.
Oh my, 13 straight games? You kidding me?
I mean, And the edge piece, I mean, like outside of Watt was the basically the only lone healthy guy last year. Highsmith was hurt with a groin injury and then an ankle injury, and Herbig had lingering injuries as well. Well, I think it was a groin injury as well.
Yeah, and they had to trade a 7th for Preston Smith.
Yeah, they did. So edge, to them, it's important, and it is important for the Steelers scheme, for their vision, and just to secure the edge group for at least the next 2 years.
I gotta say, man, it's one of the best edge groups in the entire league. Those 4.
Yeah.
We all know what Herbig can do. We know what Highsmith and Watt can do. They're defensive MVPs. They're defensive playmakers.
Their chemistry, the duo that they are. And then you add upon Jack Sawyer, who many people thought was going to be a day 2 pick. He fell to day 3. And he's got a tenacity to him. He's got a mindset to him. He's got a mean streak to him.
Yep, strong rushing attack.
And one hell of a run defender. The Steelers want to bolster that run defense. I mean, like, Jack Sawyer's the guy to go for. And they can...
Hell, they drafted 3 players that allows them to help that run defense.
Yes.
Unbelievable, man. Crazy stuff. And we all know what Herbig can do. Herbig's explosive. He's got incredible pass rush upside, and he's coming into his 3rd year.
The edge group,
as long
man.
as they stay healthy, man. As long as they stay healthy, that could really help out the secondary.
Not just stay healthy, but if they're utilized properly, if they're not stationary, if they move these guys around, move Watt around, move Highsmith around, move around Herbig, blitz Sawyer up the middle, or have Watt blitz up the middle, have Highsmith and Herbig are outside, or, just
vice versa.
Just rotate these guys, man.
Well, that's up to Terrell Austin. That's up to Mike Tomlin.
Instead of being stale and bland and just...
What we do know is they are going to be heavily carried by the defense all year.
They're going to have to be.
How many wins does that get them? I predict 9.
I predict 9 as well.
They'll be lucky to get more. Maybe 9 is overachieving based off of this team.
Yeah, Mike Tomlin's
I don't know.
Black magic or whatever they call it.
How many people thought Peyton Manning looked goofy as hell in his Broncos uniform? It took a while to adjust, yes. It took a while, but once I seen it, I got used to it. Now I can't unsee it when I see him in the Broncos uniform. It's just one of those things. Although I can't get used to Franco in a Seahawks jersey, or Emmitt Smith in a Cardinals jersey, or Randy Moss and wasn't he a 49er at one point? I think he was. It's just weird.
Or Ed Reed as a Texan or a Jet. It just doesn't look right.
No. There's just certain players that don't look right.
No, it just looks awful.
Even Tom Brady is a Buck. I was like, that's just weird.
Hell, even Chad Johnson, he was a Patriot.
Yeah.
I'm like, nah.
Yeah.
Nah.
What was another one? Now, Antonio Brown as a Patriot. It's just, he's wearing 17. Like, what the hell is this?
Yeah, something that just doesn't look right.
Even Michael Vick wearing a Steelers jersey.
Or Le'Veon Bell as a Chief.
Yeah, LaShawn McCoy's a Chief. Ring chasing.
Yeah.
Crazy stuff, man. It's the NFL world.
Melvin Gordon.
It's just one of those things where, like, legends, they just bounce from team to team to team to team to team. Even Julio Jones. He was a Buck. He was the Eagle. It was weird.
Was he a Titan?
Yes. I think he was. Hopkins is a Titan.
Don't go to the Titans.
No. Don't go to the Titans. That's where the nursing home's at. You'd think it'd be in Pittsburgh with Darius Slay and Aaron Rodgers and all these people. No, it's over in Tennessee. They're trying to get younger.
Trying. They're working?
Yeah, electric. I don't know why people keep bringing up the NFL draft. Like, we're not doing a draft lottery for the NFL. That would be cancerous to the league. You're really going to put that in the hands of the owners or whoever else does the lottery? No. We're not doing that. That would be terrible. Like, it's bad enough the NBA is getting rigged allegations, and it's been rigged for a while. NFL, I do believe in a lot of rigging. That's why the Chiefs have been at the top of the mountain. That's why, the refs are in the Chiefs' pockets, because they are. Because the NFL needs the Chiefs to be at the top.
Well,
It's
I mean,
nauseating.
the Chiefs are going to Brazil to face the Chargers. They got both the Thanksgiving games.
going to
and
Brazil?
Yes. They got both the Thanksgiving Day games and the Christmas Day games.
You might as well say goodbye to your families.
Pretty much. Forget the family gatherings.
Fuck holidays.
Forget the presents. Forget the feast. Yeah, I got a football game to play.
Yeah,
I got to flop for the refs because we're the Chiefs.
Yeah, like I was looking at the Chiefs' schedule. I'm thinking, good God, I got to watch the Chiefs this much in prime time.
Mm-hmm.
And then you look at you look at teams like the Giants. Bro, I can't see them winning more than 3 games. Same thing with the Browns. I look at the Browns schedule. I can't see more than 4 or 5 wins, if that. It doesn't look good. Look at their schedules and tell me how many wins you think they get. Same thing with the Giants. It's hilarious.
Man, they got Russell Wilson in town.
Let's ride.
Well, the Giants will. The Bull will. He'll probably be having to ride out of town because, I mean, like, at that point, they may be fed up.
Speaking of New York, how about the Knicks? They lost to the Celtics tonight. I think the series is tied, I think. No, it's not tied.
No, the Knicks led. Last I checked, they led 3-1, but
Now it's 3-2.
yeah, so Celtics, I mean, like,
They could tie it.
they're not going down without a fight.
When's the next game? Saturday?
Is it every 2 days?
Their next game is... Wait, no, I'm sorry. Today's Wednesday.
Yes.
Yeah, next game's Friday.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Celtics, man, they're still fighting. They're still alive.
You never know. Yeah, and Jason Tatum,
That's unfortunate.
Looks very bad. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, Hunter would have then gone to the Chiefs if there was an NFL draft lottery. We're not doing that.
Nope.
Didn't the Mavs have like a 1.8% of getting the number 1 pick? And they got it. Yeah, let's trade away Luka Doncic to the Lakers because we need the Lakers to look good. And I'm a Lakers fan.
Only for them
but they
to
need
lose.
the Lakers to look good.
Only them for to lose early in the playoffs.
Yes. Yeah, don't remind me.
You're not even a diehard Lakers fan.
I'm not.
I'm a Bulls fan. I can't tell you
Listen,
one Bulls
I don't
player.
follow.
I can't tell you one Bulls player. I can't.
Zach LaVine still with them?
I don't know. Go Bulls, though.
But you got the Mavs. You got the Mavs getting the number 1 overall pick after trading their franchise player. Like, what the hell? Zach LaVine is part of the Kings now. Where the hell have I been? That's how much I follow the NBA. I only follow it for the playoffs. I'm not going to lie to you guys. I do think the Celtics will go down. Will I don't know if they're going to lose because tonight they played a really good game. Derek White had himself, 30-something points. But, if they're going to go down, they're going to go down with a strong fight.
No, I haven't watched one game throughout the playoffs yet.
I saw the Tatum game.
Oh, did you?
Yeah, where he got hurt.
I haven't watched one game yet.
Yeah. The NBA playoffs, man, it's crazy stuff.
Yeah.
Let's get one last update in the chat. 35% say that the max amount of wins for the Steelers this year is 9. So for the majority of this stream, it was 10 plus. Now it has edged up to 9 by 1%.
Literally. That 1%.
I think that's funny. See, this is how the Steelers work. They start off hot. They start off pretty good. They look promising. And then in the end, back to reality. I think it's very fitting. You know what I'm saying? Very symbolic. 116 days until September 7th. But who's counting?
You?
Well, Digital Dust put it in the chat.
Oh, the Digital Dust then, yeah. Yeah, I'm just seeing it now, yeah. 116. Count down the days, bro. Going 9-8 for the notorious Steelers fan, Sean Combs.
Here, I got a number for you. There are approximately 10,318 hours until September 7th, 2025 at 1 o'clock. We are 10,318 hours away from kickoff. But who's counting? Google. That's who.
Yep, just search it up on Google.
65% say 9 or less wins. Yeah.
That's right.
It's gonna be a wild season. That's all I know, man. That's all. It's. I don't know what to expect. I know what not to expect. Maybe they overexceed expectations. Maybe 9 wins is overexceeding expectations. I don't know. Depending on how you think the season's gonna go. We don't know when A-Rod's gonna sign. We don't know if they're gonna add or sign a wide receiver too. Plenty of time in between. But for me, I think the record is gonna be 9-8 again. I think they have a end of season collapse, and ultimately, I think we fall in the same situation. I think it's another season that we've seen the past number of years, essentially the same movie, same situation, just different characters, different cast members, whatever you want to call it.
It's like putting in a VHS tape and pressing the rewind button till you have to rewatch it all over again.
Yep.
I say that every single year.
And that's what I'm expecting. I don't have any great expectations, but that is my only expectation. The only thing I want to hope for and wish for is the best for this season, whenever that comes in September, early in August, if you're really looking forward to the preseason games like me.
I'm just going to try to take the best I can from the season. That could come from the rookies. That could come from Harmon. That could come from Caleb Johnson. That could come from even a Will Howard if he's given the opportunity, maybe. The new Steelers, DK Metcalf, I look forward to what he can bring to the table.
Maybe me too.
Maybe some of these guys that could bounce back. Maybe a Project, maybe Fatanu, maybe Roman Wilson, maybe JBJ, Benton even. See what he can do. I look forward to a couple things. I'm hoping, that some of these guys can stick out and showcase, like, hey, they can be a part for the future, because that's what this season should really be about. Is like, what impact are these guys going to bring for not just this season, but for the future?
Yeah.
How can they indicate that they can be a part of the future? They can really be something for the Steelers down the road.
Yeah, can they be a part of Omar's vision, Omar's model of the Pittsburgh Steelers, what he's trying to build in the locker room, what he's trying to build on field? That's what I'm really looking most forward to, is the growth of the past 3 draft classes, 2023, 2024, and the immediacy of 2025. That's what I'm all looking forward to. And if I had to say, if there's one specific player I'm looking forward to the most, like out of this entire team this year, based off of, the significance of what he's going to bring to the table and what the Steelers are going to rely on, I would probably say Caleb Johnson.
Not a bad one to choose. Not a bad one to look at. I mean, I love the Caleb Johnson pick.
Well, we don't have a quarterback. We don't have many receivers.
No, we don't.
So I would probably say, yeah.
I'd probably agree. Caleb Johnson.
Yeah, I would say. But overall, the past 3 draft classes, that's all I wanted. I want to see guys like Broderick and JPJ and Benton and everyone else, Fatanu, Roman. I want them all to give us something to be excited about. Give us something to be happy about. Give us some promise. That's what it's all about in 2025 to me. We got months up until then, so we'll see what they do. We'll see if the Steelers add anybody. We'll see if the Steelers make any extra moves. And before you know it, we'll be in training camp, folks. We'll be in Latrobe, starting to see these guys in action, getting ready for the 2025 regular season.
Yes, sir.
Watching preseason. It's going to be a couple months, but I'm telling you right now, those months are going to fly. The summer's going to fly. I can't wait for it. So at the end of the day, here we go, Steelers. And Aaron Rodgers, whether you're going to be a Steeler or not, whether you're going to start week 1 versus the Jets or not, either hop on or go retire. Either you're in or you're not. You're with us or you're against us. You're with us or you're falling asleep on the couch right now. What are you doing? We'll see if he makes up his mind. I would imagine, and I keep saying this, and I'm going to keep saying it, I'd imagine it's going to happen at some point soon. Fingers crossed, maybe, because now he knows who he's facing week 1. If that doesn't give him any indication to sign with the Steelers, I don't know what will.
Not any indication, but motivation.
Same thing.
But if that's what really it takes, if that's all that it takes for A-Rod to really make up his mind, it's like, wow, bro.
Yeah.
Wow, you really want to be a part of this team, don't you?
Kenny better win that starting job. He's not. Digital, he's not. All right, before we go on out of here, chat, I just want to hear your guys' prediction. Who do you think is going to be the Browns' week 1 starter?
I already said who I think to start the stream.
I think it's going to be Joe Flacco. And that's not saying much because the man's 40 years old. How old is he?
40.
Is he really 40?
He's 40.
He is 40 years old exactly.
Yep. Just 2 years ago, he was on the couch until the Browns called him up.
Yeah.
Now he's in line to start.
I'll tell you who won't be the starter. It will not be Kenny. It might be Kenny in week 6.
Flacco.
but-
Here's what's going to happen. Flacco will start, but he's not going to be the full season starter. That's not happening.
Oh, no.
That's not happening.
Yeah, I agree.
They're going to go through a rotating door of quarterbacks. It's going to be Flacco for, 5-6 weeks. Then they're going to go to Kenny. That's really going to go well. Then they're going to go to Dylan Gabriel. And then they're going to go to the other rookie, Shador
Sanders, yes.
They could very well keep 4 quarterbacks. I could see it. It's the Browns, bro.
You might as well. This is crazy, man. You know, it's we can laugh about it while we're kind of going through not exactly the same situation, but we're in quarterback purgatory too. The only difference is we didn't trade so many picks and give that quarterback, that player, everything that we had, fully guaranteed. At least we didn't do that. So who's the real loser?
At least we're not selling our souls.
No, we're not. So Cleveland, we'll see you on week 6. Enjoy the ride and enjoy Kenny. And enjoy Deontay and enjoy DeMonte Casey. Is there anyone else I'm missing?
Devin Bush.
Oh my God.
You want Cam Sutton too?
Bro, who's next? Levi Wallace?
I left my
Yo,
ass
they are
off.
getting getting all our scraps.
They want the pickings. They want the Steelers pickings. Yeah.
Obviously.
Yeah.
That's funny, man. I just find it really hilarious that they keep picking up all these former Steeler players. Like, wow, man.
Yeah, these players that actually played a part in beating you, and you're thinking, hey, they can play a part here.
Devin Bush, somber. Yes, he is in legal trouble, actually.
Yes, he is. Yeah, this was a couple weeks ago.
I forget what it was. He was arrested on simple assault and harassment charges in Pennsylvania.
Nice, Bush.
It's unfortunate.
Jeez.
It's unfortunate. Well, that's the Browns' problem, not us anymore. That's the Browns for you. Browns are going to Browns at the end of the year. They're going to be last in the division. That's all. It won't be us. One thing I know for certain is the Browns are going to be last in the division. And I'm a gambling man. I will gamble on that.
Oh, yeah?
Who will finish last in the AFC North? Browns. I don't care what the odds are.
Question is, what does the future hold for Kevin Stefanski?
I think he gets fired.
Because I don't know if the Browns retain him.
If he has a bad year, by the way, if he has a bad year, it's not entirely his fault because he's dealt with a horrible quarterback situation. Granted, he's also the reason for it. But I think this might be Kevin Stefanski's last year for the Browns. And if that's the case, hey, yo, you want to make a short drive over to Pittsburgh? I'll gladly have him as the offensive coordinator. Are you kidding me? They're not going to do it, but I love the idea of it.
Yeah.
I would love the idea of it. Or maybe he doesn't go back to an offensive coordinator position. Maybe someone takes him up as a head coach.
Yeah, the Giants.
Maybe he just laterals from head coach to head coach. I think he's solid enough. He's just not doing good for the Browns right now. He did a couple years ago, and now they're kind of right back where they belong, which is hilarious. It's always enjoyable to see. That's one thing I can constantly bank on and constantly enjoy, no matter how bad the Steelers season goes, is that the Browns are always at the bottom.
The Browns are the Browns.
It's one thing I can definitely enjoy. And I don't think there's going to be a lot to enjoy this year, but that's one thing I will enjoy. That's not exactly Steelers related, so that'll be fun, man. That's months from now, but you guys already know, man. Come that time, we'll be live for every single game. It'll be an interesting season. I can't wait, but at the same time, I'm a little frightened.
Live for every single game, repping for every single game. Mason Rudolph jersey.
Yeah.
Whether he is the starting quarterback or not, we made a vow and a pledge that if the Steelers re-signed Mason Rudolph, we would rep that man's jersey every game for the upcoming season. You better believe it. That promise will be kept.
I forget. You made that promise before we signed him, right?
Before. Bro, we were at so bad at a point. I was like, I didn't even care. Like, bring the guy back. And they actually did.
Yeah, we did it as a joke. I mean, we were kind of serious, but we didn't think it was going to happen. And it happened.
Lo and behold, they brought him back. And you know what? I'm happy he's back.
And as of now...
I'm glad that jersey didn't go to waste.
And up until now...
Bought that man's jersey for the Bills playoff game.
Up until Mason... up until Aaron Rodgers makes a decision, Mason's quarterback won.
That's the way I see it.
Yeah, we'll see. This is wild, man. We're going into mid-March. March 15th, actually, right now. Not March. May. Sorry.
May 15th.
And Mason's the quarterback one. We have the schedule release, and Mason's the quarterback one. It's weird. It's crazy.
Playing that ball to DK.
Yes, sir.
To Muth. To Robert Woods.
Robert Woods. It's going to be a great season. I can't wait. Get the beer ready. Anyway, guys, we're getting on out of here. Appreciate you all for watching tonight as we finally got the schedule release. We see who the Steelers are facing week 1, 4 primetime matchups, an international trip all the way to Dublin, Ireland, week 4, a week 5 bye week, and a tough final 6-7 game stretch that looks like it could be another collapse. Maybe the Steelers do better this time. Maybe they learn from their mistakes. I don't know. We're going to find out in a couple months' time. But with that being said, appreciate y'all for watching. Before you get on out of here, if you guys are new, hit that like, hit that subscribe. Otherwise, we'll see you in the next one. You guys enjoy the rest of your night. Enjoy the rest of your week. And y'all have a tremendous, fun, healthy, safe, incredible weekend. See y'all in the next one. Here we go, Steelers.
And as always, like, comment, subscribe, and we'll see you later. Peace!